Okay, Vanity is in place. We're gonna go ahead and put a bead of silicone around the edge here, all the way around the Vanity. We're gonna bring in the stone with the sink already attached to it. We're gonna lay that Vanity on, push it into place, because obviously that is not lined up. But let me show you my extended pecs here. Now I have access in the drawer here. So now if God forbid anything happened, I open this up, I go down to this section here, I reach back and quarter turn instead of having to pull this drawer out, which you got to hit these like certain tabs. You got to pull it out in a rush and a panic. This is going to be a lot better. Soft closing, by the way. And if you are wondering, this is a OVE. Those are soft closing as well. The white stone is very nice. I'll show you that in just a second here. The build quality, this was from Costco. This was on sale. I'm happy with it, but the build quality, I guess, isn't as good as I thought it was going to be. It's still really good. It's just, I'd honestly give it only like an 8 out of 10. I had to adjust the right-hand side of this one, and it's still not perfect, meaning that it's a little bit higher in that one. I've tried to adjust it. I might even try to get some different soft closes. It might just be the mounting of those. Not exactly sure. Anyway, not bad, but could be better. Switched over to the matte black. Handles, we're looking good there. Let's go ahead and lay on that top counter. Like I said, the sink and the stone is white quartz. And it's kind of just a plain quartz. If you look at it really, really closely, you can see some texture to it, but it's just, again, clean, simple, one-hole design. For the faucet, we do have a backsplash we're going to be putting on because my walls aren't completely square. We're going to be putting on, of course, some caulking in the back, and then some waterproof silicone bead right here, either clear or white, coming straight down this line right here, and then filling in this very small little gap with some other silicone caulking, because I probably will have a hand towel rack right here. Don't quote me on that one. And if I do, people's hands will drip water. It'll get right here. It might drip down here. So rather not that happen. Still need to finish that off. And the back outlet there we're going to get to later on today. So I've gone with a Moan. I do not believe you pronounce like that, but maybe Moan. And this is a single, meaning it is for a single hole, and it's in matte black as well. There is the model number right there, and you also get a matte black drain as well. So here it is right here. It does come, if for some reason you do get this or you're remodeling your Vanity, it does come with the 3 little hole right there if you already have that. And then this would cover up the other 2 holes for the single right there. Obviously don't need that for this one, and it's just gonna look cleaner just with the tube spout coming up like this. Very simple install. Here is our drain right here. That's gonna look really sharp. Everything's gonna match. And if you are wondering, I'm using DAP's white color amp, outperforming silicone right there. It's a little bit more, but it's supposed to be a lot better, I guess. And that's for kitchen, bath, and plumbing. And make sure you get a good caulking gun right here. That's what I use for underneath the stone there to go onto the wood. That's what I used underneath that little backsplash. Piece of stone laid on top. Don't go too much, but definitely put a nice bead down, but don't overflow so it's not like coming out of the creases right here, overflowing onto your Vanity. Folks, we're gonna be right back to the bathroom renovation project, but I wanna thank today's sponsor, which is Manscaped. Of course, they're most known for their Lawnmower 4.0, and now their Beard Hedger, which I use all the time, as well as their brand new electric shaver, which works great as well. But I do wanna show you their brand new premium boxers 2.0 version. All right, folks, when you order the Manscaped 2.0 boxers, your packaging will look like this here. And you have 3 boxers in the boxer pack, if you get the 3-pack, of course. And of course, they make different sets, but let's go ahead and look at one of them here. Now, this is my second set of these, so I'm very used to them, but I just want to show you what they look like when they do come. Each individual one is packaged up just nicely sealed. If you want to give these away as gifts, again, you can, just give them like this, put them in their stocking stuffers, give them a 3-pack, back. Let's open it up and take a look. Again, coming up bundled up just nicely, and let's whip it out here. Very soft material. So these going to be a little bit more premium, kind of softer material. Now the band is beautiful. The band is really nice. You got your nice little front crotch area here. Again, super comfortable. Love the design of them. Let's look at the back of them here. So you have a little logo here, and then you have the main area here, and you do have fly access if you need it right there, as we can see. And if you want to get 20% off no matter what you order on Manscaped's website and free shipping, right below the video, top link in the description box below is going to be my link where that 20% will automatically be applied at checkout. So you can shop for the Boxers 2.0, you can shop for their new beard hedger, and any of their other items. They make solid products. Once again, that link is in the description box below, top link. Thank you to Manscaped for once again sponsoring this video. And now let's get back to the bathroom remodel renovation. And then for all of the other molding, baseboard, that's all going to be DAP Alex Flex. And that does a really good job as well. I did that on the Schluter outside of the Schluter connecting to the wall. I did that on the baseboards, and I'll do that. Actually, no, I haven't done it on this baseboard yet, obviously, because you can see a little crack right there. Still need a brad nail that little piece in, and then I'll do it on the trim and the door, etc. This is good stuff. That again is for molding and trim. Okay, now with this specific one, because I just have a one hole here, it does come with a rubber washer that I have inserted in the circle, as you can see right there. If you have the 3-1, then obviously put in your foam spacer and follow the directions there, but since it's just a single right there. Okay, I'm gonna probably have to hold it with 2 hands at once to kind of lean forward. I don't want to chip my stone. So then I go underneath. Okay, as we can see here, you get this moon-shaped type of adapter that goes underneath your sink, and then underneath this little kind of a long nut type of a thing here, that screws on to mount it nice and tight, and then you get this special plastic tool I'll show you in a second to tighten that down. Here are your water valves. So again, the half moon goes like this. And the picture here shows the half moon going the other direction, meaning that it's going this way, kind of like towards you, but my little metal screw is on the other side, and that's the way it's supposed to go. So this is where you need to pay attention. Now, if your depth like mine, where the gap was over 1 inch, then you need to go ahead and have these little notches of that little tool on the bottom. If it's a very short gap, under 1 inch, then you would flip the little rivets to the other side here. So I had my rivets down because my gap from the start of the threads was more than 1 inch. And you need that little half moon with the gold side, and it actually says this side facing down. And the reason why is the other side's a little bit more protective, and that side is metal, so you can twist it and tighten it really well. So what we're gonna do with this little plastic tool is we're gonna insert that up on the little nut there that's hanging down. And then we're going to insert a screwdriver into this hole and rotate the screwdriver to give us a little bit more friction and to tighten that up really nice. Now, before you do tighten it up, make sure that this is nice and straight, and you might need to have a helper so that doesn't pivot on you while you do tighten it. I might have to do this with one hand down here, one hand up here, because what you want is you want that Moan logo, very subtle logo, and you want it just beautifully facing you like that. So let's begin. And also remember, when you're tightening that on, if you're coming into it, like obviously you will be going in this way, remember it's reverse threaded because you're looking at it from a different angle. Lefty is tighty, righty is loosen. So remember that. If you're like, why isn't this thing going on? Turn it to the left and then it will tighten. Really simple to do. I did it one-handed. And I did it, to hand strength tighten. I didn't try to kill it and overdo it. I just did it to like right about there. And then that's just fine. Obviously no shakes, no wobbles. I'm pretty strong, but I didn't overexert myself, but put enough hand strength into it. Okay, so you have your water line still right here, which I want to go behind my P-trap right here. And we're going to connect to my PEX quarter turns below right here. Again, it's already labeled hot side, and the one without a sticker is obviously the cold, so make sure you put those ones correctly. But before we get to that, we're gonna go ahead and insert our drain. And I am missing my P-trap. I'm getting a new one of those. And I'm also missing the other portion of the P-trap that's gonna go on the end of this, screwed on to attach to the P-trap. Okay, And then I unscrewed the very top of my drain here. And this is what the little piece is gonna look like. It's attached to this little down tube drain here. Remove it like this, put a little bit of DAP or clear DAP sealant around it. And you don't want to go too much. You can use plumber's putty is what they're kind of looking like they're using right here. You can use plumber's putty if you want. I just use DAP. You can see a very little bit amount coming out the edge. You can clean that up if you want. You don't want to do too much because you don't want it overflowing into your porcelain. Use dish soap and water to clean up if you do have a mess around it there. So I cleaned underneath it first, wiped it down so there wasn't any dust on there. Put the sealant underneath it like I just showed you in that picture, dropped that in, then took the down tube here, put that up, which is gonna thread into that portion there. Again, lefty is tighty on this one. And then you're gonna get to a point where all of a sudden it starts to rotate this as well. And that's when you know it's nice and tight, making sure that this area here is in the back because that's where my pull-up drain stopper is gonna go. If you are able to see this little piece popping down underneath this washer, because this sink is like this thick, my little piece is embedded in here and there's no way for me to reach in there and like tighten it up even more than that. So what you could do is you could grab this with your fingers here and tighten this as you're holding this going in the opposite direction, just so that that is nice and tight, threaded into the piece we dropped in with the sealant. Okay, here's a little tip for you here when you're installing your pull-up drain plug here. I have the backsplash on my sink here, and I actually couldn't fit that in without loosening up my top portion again. And then it bent forward just a little bit. Then I was able to slip it in because it's super long. So you might have to do that or pop that in before you do tighten this down. Okay, then what we're gonna do here is we're gonna drop in our drain insert here straight down, making sure the little hole is facing this way here. And before you do that, you can tighten this up here. I haven't fully tightened this, just hand strength, but I'm actually gonna get a wrench and tighten that down nice and snug. Again, this nut compressing this bottom washer right here. Let's go ahead and come around the corner here. Now again, that black little metal piece right here, that is your pull-up drain. And then you slip in your little, it looks like brass, you know, with your little holes here. And then what I did, unscrew this right here, and you're gonna slip in your white little tube with your little bubble on the end of it here, and that goes into the drain insert here. And what I did before I tightened this on, I put that in and then kind of fiddled with it to know exactly where the space is, where it needs to be down for it to be fully up regarding this right here. And so then I tighten this on here. Remember, lefty is tighty because it's opposite, facing the other direction. And then slip on, I used the second hole from the bottom here. Make sure your little metal clip slips on one side on this side through the little holes here in the middle piece, and then it connects to the back here. And then I used like lineman's pliers or whatever to kind of clamp that shut so that doesn't fall off as you're pivoting the drain here. Now, the only problem I see with this, you could just put a little piece of duct tape on there so it doesn't like fiddle around with you like that. But every time you go up and down with the drain, this is rattling a little bit. If that bugs you, again, put a little piece of tape so that doesn't move while you do that. So now, I mean, if you didn't have the backsplash, it's a decent design. It's a little tight with that backsplash. Just to kind of give you a heads up. It's a little bit hard to fiddle with. It's a clean look, but if you have that backsplash, it's just a little hard to get to. And then you pull up, we're done there, push that back down. So just keep that in mind as well if you're gonna go with a style like this, or ditch the backsplash, totally up to you. But overall, it does look really sharp. Of course, we still need to, again, finish tightening this up here. And then we still need to connect our water valves to our PEX piping here. All right, and make sure that this little nut right here is fully tightened down onto your rod. That way there's no slippage and it doesn't slip on you. It stays completely still while you're pivoting this up and down. And if you are wondering, that nut is an 11 mil, or you can use an adjustable wrench. Okay, I tightened that down with a nice little wrench there. We're looking absolutely fantastic. Coming down to our piping here. Now, little tip for you, use some good quality Teflon tape. This Teflon tape right here, I think I got with like a product, and sometimes just the quality, it's real flimsy, starts tearing in the middle with you. This stuff is a lot better. So I wrapped it about 4 or 5 times around. You can still see the threads a little bit right there. That, of course, is the cold one. So we'll remove this little black cap here. Hand thread it on first and then tighten it down with a wrench. Don't overdo it, but nice and hand strength tight. I still need to go to Lowe's to get my new P-trap. I'll install that. We'll test for leaks. All right, we're gonna be installing the rain shower nozzle here. And I put number 5, and I actually need to wipe a little bit more on that top little thread there. But this is number 5 pipe dope, pipe goop, whatever you want to call it, in the yellow tube. And this just, in my opinion, does a better job than Teflon tape. Okay, folks, quick little breather on this out tube right here. Extension shower nozzle. Reason being is my 1/2 inch female is too far back and I don't really feel like using a tile bit and enlarging that hole. I can, worst case scenario, but I gotta go to Lowe's tomorrow anyway for some plumbing stuff, so I'm gonna get a 1/2 inch male to a 1/2 inch female adapter, and that will extend that. Because what's happening is, and by the way, I took off my number 5 threading goop, just so it doesn't, obviously tomorrow I'll re-put it back on there. What's happening is, these edges, because this extension is a square, and it's just getting hung up right on the edge of the tile. As you can see there, it's kind of scratching it there. No harm, no foul on that one. But what's gonna happen is the extension should give me enough lee room where that's gonna twirl, be able to tighten real nice without worrying about that. So we'll be back with you. Again, worst case scenario, I'll get my bit out, extend that hole a little bit. The flange, this is for this right here, but the flange, here it is. The flange for that will cover up an extended hole if needs be. So that's good news. So now we're gonna go ahead and cut this down to size here. Let me go ahead and show you the flange here on this. So again, you got your little cutouts with your little ridges right there, if you can see. So I put this on, and obviously it has a little waterproof gasket, that little gray square thing right there. So as you can see here, I put this on, and it's kind of hard to see on camera, but I got an 1/8 of an inch gap behind my thumb right here. So that's not gonna, if you really wanted to and not deal with it, but it's so simple, it's just plastic. So I have a brand new utility knife. I'm gonna go ahead and cut away the first ridge of this, and that should sit very beautifully flush against the tile. I'll use some white silicone and go ahead and run a bead around that after I put that on. Don't mess up your silicone if you already have silicone on it, but I'm just gonna show you for kicks and giggles. I already ran it off camera. So I just carefully went right on the edge of the first edge because I'm only taking an edge off. And then I finally pierced through. So now I'm pierced through, do be careful. And we're gonna go ahead and again, just take off an 1/8 of an inch all the way around, right up against this line, which is a good cut line. Kinda, yeah, easier to see right there. You have this little ridge which separates the different ridges. Alrighty, just like that there. Nice little one sliver all the way around. And now that fits beautifully flush up against my shower tile. Fantastic. And with that gasket in the middle, it fits on nice and tight, but definitely don't skimp the silicone because if water does drip off the shower, you don't want it getting behind that. Go ahead and use some clear silicone sealant all the way around it. I won't do white because I don't want the white to show. And so clear will be real nice just to go ahead and waterproof that right there. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you are having this issue where your 1/2 inch female is too far in there for your shower nozzle, and I just couldn't get my shower nozzle, this is like a 16-inch shower extender nozzle here, and I just couldn't get this because it's square. It was coming right into the corners here. You actually could see it kind of chip the tile here. And this was just my mess up little here. Anyway, simple fix is just a slight extender. You can pick this up at your home goods store. I'll also have it linked in the description box below. It is a 1/2 inch in this case because I'm using 1/2 inch. It's a 1/2 inch male into a 1/2 inch female. I'm gonna go ahead and use pipe dope number 5 underneath that. So I'm gonna take that off, redo that with number 5, put number 5 on this thread, and of course that thread there. Screw that one back on, and then take this one, and then actually I'm gonna tighten it up with the wrench. Then I'm gonna put number 5 on these threads and screw it into my 1/2 inch female. So as you can see here, it is now extended, if my camera can get in there, so it ends right there. And then with this screwed in, And I still have a half of a turn left to make sure that is nice and tightened down fully. And what that's going to do is that's going to suck in my shower extender all the way flush with the tile. Once I do that half turn, flange will go over. I'll silicone the flange and it will be absolutely beautiful. That way I won't lose an inch or an inch plus off of my nozzle so I can get my full 16-inch. Alrighty, I got the pipe dope number 5 yellow on the male threads and hand thread that on first. Then what I'm going to do here is, because even though there is, you can get a wrench on that or whatever, I can't get a wrench on that, but 23 mil with an extension and a socket is going to go right over that. I'll go ahead and tighten that up, and that's going to lock that into place. And then we'll put in our shower nozzle extender. Okay, that is looking really good. I'm going to go ahead and leave the flange off and not silicone that until I test it out to make sure there's no leaks behind the tile. You don't want to seal that up and, God forbid, have a little drip or leak. So we'll wait on that for just a little bit. Here's a little tip for you here. My nozzle, as in my little nozzle right here, was facing upwards. I couldn't do it by hand anymore. And so the easiest thing to do is get yourself a little pipe wrench or a long-handled wrench so you don't scratch your extended tube. Put a rag over the top of it, lock it in, hold it steady with one hand, and then rotate the other side with it until it is facing in the correct direction. If you need to bring it around a little bit more. Don't let the party stop, guys. Hit one of these videos, continue to watch, and we'll see you soon.